Heart on this couch, bro. I have such a full heart right now with what's been going on in my life.
Got a lot going on.
It's been one thing after another. It's all crammed in. Grandchild that we celebrated, I showed you pictures
That's
of.
right. Just got into the last show.
Peyton got married.
A lot happening.
Peyton got married Friday night.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to be in attendance for the ceremony. Oh yeah,
Nate,
look at
Nate
there's
is
your
fam.
youngest
Nate is
daughter
fam.
right
So there she is with the flower princess because
Very
little Emmy
nice.
refused to be a flower girl, and I tell you what, she lived up to it. That is a flower princess. But Peyton, oh my goodness, so beautiful. We did this first look. Like usually that's just for the groom, but we did it too. And so I didn't see her all day. I never saw the gown she's wearing. And we rolled on it, and she came up. They had me face away, and she came up and just tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around.
Yeah,
Bro, that was a moment I'll never forget.
I'm sure.
It was so beautiful. And I nearly had to issue a flash flood warning for the tears that were coming down.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice. You kept it together from my vantage point.
Yeah, when I walked the aisle, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, I was teary-eyed.
You looked sharp too. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
Recycle that suit and use it for the air because you look
Okay,
good, man.
I appreciate that.
I told you that. You looked
Yes.
really good. Was that a
And-
double Windsor you were rocking
A
up
little
there?
double Windsor tie-dye, yeah, you know, and emerald green and that sage green, I guess it is, with the colors of the wedding.
You were telling me it was supposed to rain on that Friday night, and it stayed away.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, to have an
I mean,
outside wedding in
fortunately,
mid-November.
One of the few times that you thank God that you were wrong on the forecast.
But it was, the temperature was just right.
Yeah, it was great.
It was 6 p.m., so this time of year that it's just, you know, it's not fully dark. It was not dusk either. It was kind of in between. So it was the perfect setting, and the temperature's so comfortable. Nobody hot, nobody cold. It was just right.
Yeah.
It was just right. So yeah, full heart. And today's guest knows what I'm talking about. Another full heart is my man from Agora Ministries. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Brooks is with us today. Jason Brooks.
Yes, sir. I'm
Good to
excited to
see
be here
you,
with
my
you
man.
guys, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Like right before Quinn was born, you became a grandpa.
Yeah, within a month's period, I had a new daughter-in-law. So my oldest son got married, and then my middle son, they had our first grandchild. So
Look at you guys over here.
life change.
2025,
I know.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
And those were
thing.
both within weeks of each other,
within
too.
weeks of
Oh,
each
there
other.
she is,
Just like
Smiley
me,
May,
man.
right
Just like
there.
Smiley May. Oh my gosh.
I love that
Look at
name,
that.
bro. It's
So
beautiful.
sweet. Yeah, it's game changing having the granddaughter.
He's got the
Yeah.
little head tilt on
Yeah.
that pose. Got it down.
And I've got 3 boys, so now there's a girl. You got to have
This
girls.
is your first girl
Oh, I'm
experience.
so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just wait.
So.
She can do no wrong.
Oh, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. Just
No,
as my granddaughter, but let alone a girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were all girls, BT.
Yeah, so I know that too well, and now granddaughter, it's all I know.
All of the ladies. Yeah.
A boy I'd have to call you, man.
Yep.
Get some tips because he would throw me for a loop. But yeah, now a son-in-law.
Don't call me, brother. We need to wait a couple years. out.
Boys
Yeah.
are easy. It's a sport. You just tackle them. You have fun with them, and they're in love. Yeah. I don't know about girls. I guess I got to sit down for the little tea or something. I don't know.
You do, but they grow up quick.
Okay.
Yeah, they potty train faster. They're a lot more chill. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, boys want to get into
Yes.
stuff early and often. Girls like to sit in color and do crafts. But Carissa's an athlete, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what we watched early on. That she was jeans and t-shirts and getting into a mess fast.
Yeah.
And then Kendall was our little princess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
It's exciting times.
Now, Jason,
It's
I want
good
to
stuff.
Agora Ministries, right? Because
Yes.
I'll be honest, coming in, I don't know a ton about Agora Ministries. I
Yes.
look at the shirt right
Good.
there. That's a sporty looking shirt. I'd be
Oh,
like,
thank you.
it could be a car dealership. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Well,
Well,
I get-
with the logo, you know.
I,
look like
all the
Ansira.
time they
It
say
does.
Ansira. Is that it?
Does
Is he
it
working
say
at Ansira? I
Ministries
said, no,
or
it
does
says
it say
Agora.
Mazdas?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
right, think
All
Agora.
the time it happens. Yeah.
So Agora Ministry, you're from here in San Antonio originally?
Yes.
Okay, born and raised?
Yes. And I'm born and raised here. Grew up in the John Jay area, Adams Hill, Heritage Farm, all that
So
area.
Jay Mustang.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but I didn't go there.
Oh, you didn't
Parents
go to Jay.
divorced. I graduated from DeSoto High School outside of Dallas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I lived
yeah,
there for
fair.
like 12 years, but yeah.
Okay.
But my family grew up here, and my brother and sisters both went to John Jay. So,
And you wanted back. You wanted
and
to
then
get back to San Antonio.
yes. Well, I knew the Lord called me back, but yes.
Because this is the great story, Nate, is that this man left a very successful corporate career.
Yeah.
When
So
he heard that
give me the
call.
play-by-play. You leave
Yeah.
school, and
So the funny thing is, I'm a biblical studies major from Southwestern Assemblies of God University in Waxahachie, Texas. And so I graduate, but my wife has a semester left. So I just need to make some money because we had student loans and, we were broke the whole time. So Lancaster ISD said, we need teachers so bad. We'll take anybody with a degree and you can start teaching. And you get paid like a teacher. I'm like, yes, I need money. So I went. I loved it, by the way. They put me in a third grade class, 80% at risk student population. And I just started making some really simple visuals with PowerPoint and all these other things. And then I started animating some stuff just on my spare time. And I found out my kids did better in their tests. And I got an award from the superintendent and math coordinator. And my math coordinator came in and said, Jason, God gives people ideas for a reason. You ought to see if this is for a reason. And I knew I needed to start a business from that. And so I didn't have any background in technology, coding, any of it, but I knew I needed to do it. So I came home, raised $30,000, and in 9 months produced our first software line in Dallas ISD, San Antonio ISD, Northside ISD. It just went from zero to, $1 million in no time at all.
Technology for what?
Wow.
So the unique thing,
Mathematics, or was it
math, elementary math? So what specifically we did is we took. Normally students are looking at a textbook and they're looking at 2 or 3 pictures to explain something like fractions.
Okay.
Very difficult, right? So I would have a pie and a hand would come in and pull out one piece of pie and it would say, this is 1 pie out of 4 pieces. And it would show 4 pieces, but 1 was out. So then they're visualizing what's happening.
1/4? Yeah.
So I made all these hundreds of lessons where they could visualize math. So I called it VITA, Visual Instructional Teaching Aid. And after about the 10th year, Pearson, which is the largest publisher in the world,
I know
called
them.
me and
Yeah.
said-
Leagues.
And so we partnered, and it was a phenomenal thing. And so all of our software went with their Envision Math textbooks, and we became royalty authors, and it was just incredible.
Man.
Only
Huge.
God, and never would have imagined it. Never had a grand scheme to make all money. I just wanted to have fun and
Right.
teach kids.
It came from teaching third graders.
Third graders, yeah, exactly.
And someone said, "Hey, this not only works. You need to take this other places." And you essentially designed a curriculum for a majority of the state of Texas and younger education.
At one point, there was 10,000 classrooms using our software. Wow. So if you multiply that by the students, it was hundreds of thousands of students were accessing. Now, here's the funny part. When I started it, I didn't know nothing. I was a biblical studies major. So I bought like 4 or 5 textbooks and we're like, how do you teach this concept? I didn't even know how to teach it. And so I just said, okay, this makes sense. And it went from there. Yeah.
So now where did that go back to ministry? When you really heard from God and said, okay, enough of this now, and we're going back to
So you're living in Dallas at this point?
I'm living in
Dallas.
Well, I'm living in Dallas, but then when I started the business, we knew we wanted to be back home near our family. So we came here to San Antonio. And then we launched it. And then, so it was approximately, so let me back up. So the whole time we had the business, we worked down in the Agora. So I've been down there for 29 years serving. And in 2004, we started the youth programs and the youth ministry down there. So I did it bivocationally for majority, of my life. I've been down there. But approximately 13 years ago in October, my father-in-law had passed away. And I knew the Lord said, it's time to do full-time serving in the inner city. And I was doing so good. Contracts were good. But I knew, but I am a Christian that really knows what it means to hear God's voice. And so I knew he said, this is it. So I sold everything and just been full-time serving in the ministry for now 13 and a half years full-time. So
wow.
Yeah.
What was that reaction like when you told people that you were deciding to sell your business?
Oh, they thought that was crazy. They're like, but dude, just keep doing it and then do it. I'm but I know that what he wants is my time. And if you've been down in the inner city where we serve, it's the lowest income, lowest fed, highest violent crime, highest dropout rate, and highest single area of San Antonio, right down the street. And there was an article in the news about 6 years ago said we're the second lowest fed zip code in the nation, 78207. So we're dealing with extreme
for those who
poverty.
might not know, where specifically in the city is that?
So it's literally in the heart of the city. If you know where UTSA campus is downtown, You go about 2 to 3 miles, you cross over the Guadalupe Bridge, and you are now in the full west side. And it is
like Southwest 19th and like Zarzamora.
yeah,
over there.
exactly, yeah.
Like
And
there's a Boys and Girls Club kind of over there. Yeah, yeah.
yes, that we have 2 locations in that area, and it's got Alizon Apache Courts, Casiana Home, Lincoln Courts, Via Vitamin D. You got all these projects. They're all in one zip code, and they're down there. And so I knew what God had called us to do is to really influence the lives of these young people that we'd just seen trampled in that kind of environment. So,
and that's what Agora is doing. You're taking in these youth and trying to break generational,
yes.
What they're used to,
Yes.
and what they've seen all their life and would know nothing different.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The reality is this: being down there that long, we've buried multiple students that were in our group, and then they got drive-by shootings, drug overdoses. I've watched young people that we'd worked with that you find 5 years later, they're literally in a drug home, emaciated because all they're doing is hooked on heroin and other drugs. The amount of sexual abuse of girls and young pregnancies is just off the charts. And so those are the kids we work with. And I love it. It's been the greatest joy of my life. I mean, to be able to serve and see that you lose a lot of them, but then there's those that change, and their entire life and future and their own children now are different because of being able to walk beside them. And so it's all worth it now, but at the time it was like, oh my gosh, this is a big change.
Jason, what you just said though is so heavy. How do you deal with something like that? How do you met them when they were 13, 14, I'm guessing, and then you're saying you see them, they're 19 and they went back out there and they're back on the streets. And
yeah, there's one young lady, I won't say her name, but I write about her. Actually, I'm about God willing, in the 15th of next month, we'll have a book out of. I've only got about 25 stories in it, but I've got hundreds that I'm starting to write. And she was a young girl. She came in. She would smell so bad. I mean, everyone would say, "What is that smell?" And it was her, because she wouldn't take a shower because her mother's live-in boyfriend, she said, would watch her in the shower, and she felt so gross that she would not take a shower. And we reported to CPS, but they didn't come out in this circumstance, because actually what happens is they can't actually find them. They all scatter and everything. Well, then she ends up going and meets a boy, and they're just having multiple kids. And I see her going through hell. Now, the neat thing is, though, we had about 4 or 5 years later, after she separated and went into just craziness, we see her at one of our Easter egg hunts. We do this 20,000 Easter eggs in Alizon Apache Courts, or the Casiano's, one of those two. And she comes out, and we see her. She's got 2 kids already. And we spend time with her. And God is doing something in her life. And we haven't seen the full, but we're seeing steps of newness. And so, but I guess go back to your question about how do you deal with that?
yeah.
Honestly, the first few times I started dealing with this and had to bury somebody, and somebody lost their lives, and it was heartbreaking. It almost makes you not want to come back. And you have to learn, it's not being cold, but you have to learn to guard your heart, or you just won't be able to do it. And for the ones that you're going to be able to walk by and see change, you've got to learn how to manage the emotions, or you just won't make it.
Take me back to when you guys started. When you started in this community, did you start with one facility and just kind of kept your doors open and say, hey, anybody who wants to come in comes in? Or did you go out into the community first? How did you sort of establish your presence within that community?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
So it actually started, my father-in-law in 1989 did a summer program where he trained 12 students, so a very small number. And at the end of this summer training, they said, well, we got to go do something. We learned all this stuff about going out and meeting the community. Let's go do something about it. So they started going to Alizon Apache Courts on Saturdays. After 6 months, the San Antonio Housing Association director for that area said, hey, people come out here, but they don't keep coming back. You guys keep coming back. Could you use 2 apartments for $1 a year? And you could do this whenever you want and have 2 facilities to do it out of. And they were like, yeah. So in 1989, no grand scheme, just how do we go impact lives?
Right.
So they do kids programs that started off doing, air balloons, where you tie them up like animals, and games and building relationships with family, into now God's done so much. It's amazing. But yeah, that's how it started.
And I love how, like Nate's pointing out, that you guys go into the community first. You're very proactive in what you're doing. Like I remember I brought Peyton, it was downtown, and we did lunches. And we just all showed up at Agora, and we brown bagged 2 sandwiches, a bag of chips, a apple, and a Coca-Cola. And then we went out and delivered.
Yeah.
And that was, I'll never forget Peyton's reaction. She was probably about 12, maybe 13 years old herself at the time, watching these people, I mean, tweaking out on drugs and you know, that bent over, that fentanyl look they have. I forget what they call that, but I mean, and some of them already look like they're dead, lying on the street. I mean, it was, and she's walking, and I'm not saying a word. I'm just letting her absorb what she's seeing in San Antonio, because as successful as the city is, right? I mean, we were just here a little while ago talking about Project Marvel and all these successful things and the city on the rise. But then there's so much poverty and there's so much hurt and there's so much pain going on in the same city.
Yeah. Yeah. For us, going back to what you were saying about outreach, we work with churches all over the place and businesses. So Sparky obviously is going to be dropping off gifts on Friday with us for our kids and our families that we work with. But we have about 1,500 to 2,000 volunteers a year that come and serve with us. So this weekend, Gateway Fellowship Church came, and they came to one property and with 50 people did beautification. And then with the other, we made we put, we call them blessing bags, rice, beans, top ramen, mac and cheese. And we went door to door to probably 150 doors, visited with people, invited them, shared about our food pantry, which has been just overflowing because of the SNAP benefits being affected and all those kind of things. And so, but that relationship with volunteers, with being present and going out, and then we work with and pick up a smaller number, but that's where you see life change, when you walk beside them and you're able to mentor and encourage and show them a different thing in life.
So you've been in this community, you've been in the zip code 78207. You've been there and had a presence there, it feels like, since 1989. I mean, you've
1989 and 29 years ago for me. Yeah, when I met my father-in-law started it. My wife, I met her and she said, "Hey, my dad's got a ministry downtown. You want to go help?" I said, "Well, if you're going, I'll go, and I'll follow her." And anyways, and so I've been down there for 29 years. Yeah.
Do you guys see how much work do you guys do in that community in terms of, you just talk about beautification, right?
Yeah.
About working with the people, because at the end of the day, it's a people interacting with people.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what life, I think, really comes down to, interpersonal comm, right?
Yes.
Knocking on your neighbor's door. But also to just the surrounding environment. I feel like the beautification of the environment, right? How are you trying to, how have you seen change within that specific area? But also because you drive around and there's a lot of the facilities are run down, and the facades of the houses and businesses, they do kind of look run down, right?
Absolutely.
And it presents that idea of poverty and homelessness, right? How can we start to change that, in your opinion, moving forward, where there's more steps from just an appearance standpoint getting better?
That honestly is a massive tackle, because the reality is it all takes resources. So we do regularly, what we might do, we'll go to a house of a single mother or elderly, and we'll go cut back all their trees, all their limbs, paint their house, because that's a really light level, doesn't require a lot of experience, and is not too expensive. I mean, the paint, the brushes, you're talking maybe $500 to $700. And we go do that. And how it affects our community. People are coming out like, "Why? What are you doing?" And the people are just in tears, so thankful. And you're just throwing paint on their house and cutting back branches. And it changes the area. Yes.
It brings dignity.
The appearance and it just even looking at something, right?
Yes.
I feel like it motivates people
It does.
too as well.
Absolutely.
It makes people strive, I feel like, to be better. Not it might take a little bit of time, but I think you do kind of see that change sort of over time.
Okay, I got to tell you this funny quick story since you're asking about that. So this was actually about maybe 5 to 6 years ago, but we're doing a house down the street. It was a single mom. She had 2 students that went to our youth program, and holes in the walls. You could see through the walls. One air conditioner for this very small room of house, but it was multiple rooms. So the AC didn't even get around the house. Does that make sense? It was like confined to one room.
Whatever room it was in,
And so we said, okay, we're going to do her house this summer. And so we went, I got a group of together from actually Cross Mountain Church, and they came and we filled the holes and put wood out there. And while we're doing it, a man comes walking, and he talks to me and this guy named Roger, one of our other leaders, and he starts talking to us, starts telling us off and rah, 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 rah. And I thought, I did what any good leader does. I left Roger to talk to him, and I left. I was like, I got to go finish the project. I'm going to let Roger take care of this. The guy, I walk away like 2 minutes later, the guy just slaps Roger across the face. Wow. Roger's like, what the heck? And he stomps off mad. We're like, what the heck is going on? Well, anyways, 2 days later, the man comes back. And this time I'm ready now. Like, I'm like, okay, my guard is up, but you could tell he had a different demeanor. And so I start talking to him. I said, hey, man, what's going on? He goes, hey, I want to come and apologize. I said, really? So he said, let's sit down. So we sat down. And he said, you know what? I've just been mad. I've been mad. I've had a rough life. And he said, in that woman's house you were working on, my best friend, that was his wife, and he died. And I promised him I'd take care of her. And I have never done anything to help her. To see a bunch of teenagers and people from a church coming to help her, and I've never done anything. I don't know why it made me so mad. And then he said, tell me, why do y'all do this? Yeah. And of course, I'm letting him know that, Jesus has changed my life. And for us to help others is part of what we called to do. We have to do this. And he sat there in that chair right beside me. It was actually on the steps of our building. And he said, I want to pray and know what that looks like. And he prayed and walked off in peace. So slapped us because we were cleaning up. And then 2 days later, he's a different man.
And I think too, it gets back to that notion of you go into a community, right? And obviously people that are there, you probably always experience pushback from people. Who are these people? This is my sort of space right here. Yes. And then kind of it's not even just so much as, I don't think conversion is the right word, like you're not trying to push your beliefs necessarily on somebody else. At the end of the day, it really is just changing somebody's perspective, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, we have found that just loving people and showing kindness, it makes a difference, because there's a hardness when you come through poverty with the gifts. It reminds me, about 8 years ago, I was at the HEB at Commerce in Zarzamora, and there was a kid who was acting up. It was right before Christmas. And I said, hey, buddy, you got to make sure you're being good. Because remember, Santa's keeping a list. He goes, there ain't no Santa Claus. I was like, what? And he goes, man, he's an 8-year-old. Eight. He goes, there ain't no Santa Claus. He goes, man, because I've never got a gift ever. So there can't be a Santa Claus. And I thought, so first off, it made me sad. This kid has been 8 years old and he's never seen gifts come on Christmas. But when I left, I realized what has happened is he now has a bitterness. He has an anger. And that's what happens when you see in poverty. When you grow up and you have nothing and you're looking and everyone else has ways and families and other things, and you're just there stuck like, I have nothing. There's a hopelessness that sets in. That's right. So what happens is, you talked about, it's human relationships. When I can sit beside you and walk beside you in life and let you know that you have value regardless of what the value of things are around you, it changes lives. And so that's the joy of what we get to do. And I've got a great staff that really invests in the lives of families.
What's really neat too is Agora Ministries is also equipping young people into this missionary opportunity.
Yes.
You've got several young adults that are in the Agora Ministries program, have said yes, send me, and are getting personally financed to do this themselves, and really taking it on full swing, right?
Yeah, we've have 20 missionaries on staff, and every year we have in January discipleship school that's 5 months, where students come and learn, how do you serve a community like this? How do you impact lives? And then they go do a month-long mission trip on the foreign field. So they get a chance to go and serve even in another area. But every time we do that, somebody comes back and says, I want to do this and invest my life to help others, because it's so impactful. And so it's a blessing. Working with young people keeps me young. I mean, I'm only 51, but I'm the old guy for sure. But it's a blessing. And there's a generation out there that has a passion and desire to see life change and to impact others more than they care about even just their financial future. And so to be able to work with a bunch of people like that's fun.
It's really something.
When you get people that want to volunteer, right? Somebody walks in the door, right?
Yeah.
If I walk in the door and say, hey, Jason, I want to just volunteer my time with Agora Ministries. I don't know don't know how I want to volunteer. What do you guys need? What's the next thing you tell?
Yeah, the first step is we ask them to fill out our volunteer form. And then what it asks is stuff like, okay, what do you like working with youth, kids? Would you like to work in the food ministry? Would you like to mentor, tutor? What are your interests? And so we even have a construction ministry where we, on Saturdays, teach young men, and we cap it at 10 because we give them a little paycheck to be there. And we teach them how to do from welding to construction to plumbing, electrical. So we find out, what are your skills? What do you enjoy? What kind of group do you want to work with? And then we bring you out some options. Well, hey, how about this, Nate? What about, come on Friday and serving with our youth doing this? Or some people are like, I just want to cook something. I'm not really good with people. Hey, come to our Friday night, and how about making a meal for our youth? Because we feed every event we do. Because if you're in the lowest fed zip code, you need to be relevant to them. So, hey, come on and cook for us, and you can spend time with our youth and help us feed them and stuff. And so we do that kind of intake, find out what they're interested in, what's on their heart, and then we connect them to opportunities. So.
Well, 'tis the season. What we were able to do last year because of Bill's Elves, this is the time of year we ask San Antonio to help fund different ministry opportunities in the city, and we were able to bless Agora Ministries last year.
Yes,
and some of these young people that we're talking about. In fact, we've got this on tape. We want to show you right now what happened last year with Bill's Elves and Agora Ministries. Take a look. Roy Moss Youth Alternatives, restoring hope, one child at a time. We're going to pull in and surprise them with a gift you gave them.
Here. Steady, 3, 2, and I got it. I outside turning and looking at the sign behind us.
Thanks to a record year on the phone bank, why don't you take a look to your left real quick? How does $10,000 sound? This is so awesome. This is what it's all about right here.
That's the relentless generosity of San Antonio. But in that home, that's part of where they live.
Yeah.
And I know you were doing that construction work in that very building downstairs so that they could live there. How'd that all come out?
Yeah, so we serve as a different model than most nonprofits. We're a group of missionaries. What that means is people outside of our community support us to be there. So, Nate, if you want to come serve at Agora, be a part of Agora, you don't get a paycheck. You have to go raise a paycheck.
Right.
It's very different. So, but it's a model that if people hear it and feel that, then they can come and be a part of it. And so long story short, one of the things we found out real quickly is if we could help them have affordable housing, they wouldn't have to raise as much. And that's a big deal. So we bought a dorm right in the West Side where originally, and this is about 10 years ago we bought it. And it was awesome. It's 10 bedrooms, 7 bathroom. But you walk out, they'd had drive-bys across the street multiple times. Our staff is ducking because they're hearing the gunshots. One of our staff, older man, got in his car and there's a prostitute trying to get in and, with him. And he's like, no. And so they see a lot, but it was a blessing and they loved it. Well, about 3 years ago now, we got upgraded, man. All the God thing, but we have it's a 15,000 square foot home, 8 apartments on a 3 acres right in the Balcones Heights area that we share a payment of $6,000 a month on. So there's like 15 missionaries. So for an 880 square foot, 2-bedroom, newly renovated, it's like $700 a month, which is beautiful. And some of the young singles are living in the big house and they're only paying $150 a month. So it helps them be able to afford to do the mission and serve others. And so, yeah, that's where you came and dropped that off. That was the living room of our
the new,
missionary campus,
the
is what we
newest.
call it.
Yeah.
In terms of, because it's a team effort, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're all stewards. We're all citizens of the same planet.
Yes.
It's citizens of San Antonio, right? Everybody wants the best for, the city of San Antonio.
Yeah.
How have you seen the city's response from a infrastructure level, from the city hall level?
Yeah.
How have you seen the city's response to poverty and homelessness over the years?
Yeah, again,
Question.
that's a big one, man.
But you're there.
Yes.
Yeah, your
Yes.
boots are on the ground, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will say this: there's no question the city is doing a great job of investing in our city, and I see it. There is those areas that are such systemic poverty and it's one of those hard situations. You got families living in houses that are falling over really bad, but if they didn't have that, they couldn't afford anything else. Does that make sense? And so there's almost that balance. Like if you put too much in, you're actually hurting the poorest of the city. Does that make sense? And so I think they've done a very good balance of that in the west side of improving certain infrastructure items and necessary things for families without almost building to outprice it, which, gentrification is a real hurt for a lot of families. I know it's great for economics, but when I'm working with families that are hardly can feed their children, an extra $100, $200 a month because it's a nicer area so it's a difficult deep conversation you got to follow. It's I don't.
And let me ask you this: with those boots on the ground in this city, and be honest, is it getting worse or is it getting better?
I think it's actually getting better right now. There's been cycles, and then there's cycles of violence that are just their own. There has been some recent. One of our staff members moved in the West Side, and the first day he was there, a guy starts screaming, getting beat out of his mind. No, just wearing underwear, just getting beat up. And then 2 weeks later, the young man got shot right behind his house, Simon, and literally was just right. Not even a block away, not even 10, 20 feet away from his house. So there's cycles of violence that just cycle through, and there's no way to stop it. But in a general sense, being down there as many years as I have, I feel like it is better in many ways than it was. And so I think the straight up gangs that used to dominate aren't as dominant. I don't know if they're not as dominant. They're more fractured, but in some ways it is better. But yeah, again, systemic inner city poverty is a massive worldwide issue that is a struggle for all cities.
What's the relationship that you guys have, if you have one, and even the community there with police?
Amazing. One of the things we love with our police is they're very responsive. They're very engaged. We know them. We have issues. We call them and we see them again. And so they're amazing. I'm going to be honest. The SAPD, which we work with, I love them. We actually had a drug home across the street from us, and man, they just come out and help us take care of things. We actually was our first with our construction program. We bought it at a very low price, cleaned it out, flipped it, but they even came in with us and helped us do some stuff. And so even the city actually came in and sent some bulldozers because there was so many drug needles. We picked up in about an hour 150 drug needles in that house. And so, but they came in once they saw how much it was, they sent a bulldozer to come pick up all those stuff and the trash that was there so we didn't get injured and stuff. So city does support us, and our police are amazing.
I was going to say, is the biggest problem with poverty, what do you think is sort of at the root of poverty? Is it gang violence? Is it drugs? Is it homelessness? What's sort of at that ground?
Yeah, that's again a great question that you're asking. The reality is this: I think it's a mindset. Everything else is a symptom of the problem. When you grow up and not having, and this is a reality, there's a fatherless generation out there. When you don't have a father in your home, when you have been taught. I mean, it's like my boys. They went to O'Connor High School, great kids, grown up. The amount of conversations I've had with them, the amount of times they've got out of order, and I said, son, we're not going to do that, and had to bring correction and discipline. Those things add up over time. Imagine you don't have that, But then the models you have are telling you, no, fight. Don't let people put you down. Do this, because that's what they've learned, like how to survive.
Survival.
How do you make it in life when you can't learn how to humble yourself and back down? How do you not get in a fight when somebody's treating you bad, and instead of you like, hey, I'm just going to walk away from this, you're like, no, I've been taught if I walk away, I'm a, and I could use the words they use to describe that. How do you do that? So it's a mindset you learn that is survival, take what I need. They don't learn. I mean, again, my kids, you have to show up for work. You have to show up for school. I have expectations, but what if you don't have those? And then your expectations are like a couple of our girls. Their mom sent them out to go buy drugs for her all the time because she didn't want to leave the house. And then she overdosed on those drugs and they were destroyed for years. They just came back to us about 15 years ago. It's 15 years gone by. And they said, our lives are changed. We went through addiction. I don't want to tell you all their story. It was bad, but they came back and said, we remembered how we felt being at Agora and we realized we got to change our lives. And now our lives are totally changed. But think about when you're coming from that kind of pain.
Yeah.
That you just went and bought the drugs for your mom who overdosed. Carry that weight of emotional weight, lack of training. What are you going to choose often? You're not going to choose the good choices because you don't even know how to choose them.
Right.
So you need people to walk beside them. It's a long-term thing. It is not a short-term. But the short-term matters, but it's the long-term where you really see life change. When you help them see a different view of life, it makes things happen.
Jason, as we wrap things up today, tell me, what does Agora Ministries need the most right now?
The two things that a ministry like ours are always in need of is volunteers with a long-term commitment are the best, but we'll take short-term as well. Like I said, Friday night we have youth. Saturday we do kids. We do a construction program. Come out and volunteer. Get to know a youth because it'll change your life when you start getting to know these guys. You know what I'm saying? And then secondly, honestly, finances. Even though our staff raise support, we do stipend them, and the ministries if you're feeding people nonstop, it just costs money. You know what I'm saying? Vehicles, insurance. I mean, we van kids in and out. We just had our box truck breakdown. They told us it's going to be a $5,000 fix, and it's not worth fixing. So literally, I just got a call yesterday. We're out of a box truck, and we're transporting food nonstop. So things like that, finances absolutely make an impact, and we're using them for the mission. But like even me, I raise my own support from outsiders. I don't just say, Agora, give me money. I got to go out and raise it from family and friends who have said, I'll support you in the mission. And so, so finances matter.
I would bet around the holiday time as well too you guys do a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we're this weekend, we're doing 600 turkeys with families. We're working with Mission City Church. They're packing them up, and then we're all distributing them at 600 homes.
Awesome.
And these are homes that we know are in poverty, that we know are in struggle. We're going to be doing multiple outreaches. We call it Christmas in the Courts. We're going to go door to door where we know kids are in poverty and pass out I bet we'll do 600-700 different doors with that, with multiple volunteer groups. And so we're doing all kinds of things. We're even doing a Muslim. There's a lot of Afghan in our community, Afghans. And we have people that are able to speak their language. They're going to go with us this Saturday, and they have halal meat. So we actually had somebody donated gift cards from Alibaba. It's where they can buy that blessed meat that they eat. Okay. So because we're trying to help whoever we can in these struggling situations.
Right. No matter religion,
doesn't matter,
gender, no matter race. I mean, you guys are just people helping people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all. That's the meaning of Agora, right? Is a gathering. Is to be there, a gathering place. And what I love is that you take it where it's needed the most right now. So how can we be praying moving forward and into these holidays?
Yeah, just that my daily prayer, honestly, is send more workers for the harvest. I mean, that's what the Bible used that terminology, but you can't change lives if you're not present in their lives. I mean, you know it. Your daughter, I mean, what if that relationship is just so important and powerful for her, for you, and everything. And we need more people they'll walk beside as a mentor beside these youth, and that'll show them that they care, they're valued, they are seen, and it can change their lives. So be praying for more of those, because that makes all the difference in the world.
And the most rewarding part of your job is
youth. Personally, youth. I love it. I got to speak last Friday night to our youth, and honestly, it's like a gift from God. I just love it. You know, they're high energy, they're fun, they're just that's my personal joy in life.
And when they come up, you probably get kids that you've seen grow up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the amount of kids that call me dad, it's sad, and sometimes you barely give them attention, and they're calling you dad because they have no dad. I had one young man that just recently, he actually took me to lunch, and he said, "Hey, can you go to lunch?" I said, "Yeah." So he took me out, and he said, "Hey, I just want to know, why were you so nice to me?" He goes, "You know, I have a father, and I know he cares, but he's never even told me, and you encouraged me so many times." That's the value of what we do and what brings me joy. When you hear that, it's like, it's worth it. So,
Jason Brooks, Agora Ministries.
Here, brother.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for what you're doing.
Everything you do.
Really, you were storing treasure in heaven, brother.
appreciate it.
It's just so awesome to be a part of it.
Thank you.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on the
Stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely.